friends, welcome to Rose's Time.
Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Ram Mohan Roy was born on 22 May 1772 in Radhanagar, Hooghly district, Bengal Presidency. His great-grandfather Krishnakanta Bandyopadhyaya was a Rahi Kulin Brahmin. Kulinism was a synonym for polygamy and the dowry system, both of which Ram Mohan campaigned against. Ram Mohan Roy was a child of Ramkanta and Tarini Devi. One parent of Mohan Roy prepared him for the occupation of a scholar, the Shastri, while the other secured for him all the worldly advantages needed to launch a career in the Laukik or worldly sphere of public administration. During his childhood, Ram Mohan Roy witnessed with his own eyes the death of his sister-in-law through sati. The 17-year-old girl was dragged towards the pyre, where Ram Mohan Roy witnessed her terrified state. He tried to protest, but to no avail. She was burned alive. The people chanted Mahasati, 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 meaning great wife, over her painful screams. Ram Mohan started his formal education in the village Pathshala, where he learned Bengali and some Sanskrit and Persian. Later, he is said to have studied Persian and Arabic in a madrasa in Patna. It is believed that he was sent to Patna when he was 9 years old, and 2 years later he went to Benares to learn the intricacies of Sanskrit and Hindu scripture, including the Vedas and Upanishads. During the early years of East India Company rule, Ram Mohan Roy acted as a political agitator while employed by the company. In 1797, Rajaram Mohan Roy reached Calcutta and became a Bania, mainly to lend to the Englishmen of the company living beyond their means. Ram Mohan also continued his vocation as Pandit in the English courts and started to make a living for himself. He began learning Greek and Latin. From 1803 until 1815, Ram Mohan served the East India Company's writing service, commencing as private clerk to Thomas Woodruff, Registrar of the Appellate Court at Murshidabad. Roy resigned from Woodruff's service and later secured employment with John Digby, a company collector, and Ram Mohan spent many years at Rangpur and elsewhere with Digby, where he renewed his contacts with Hariharananda. While in Murshidabad in 1804, Rajaram Mohan Roy wrote Tuffat ul Muwahidin in Persian with an introduction in Arabic. The importance of Tuffat ul Muwahidin lies only in its being the first known theological statement of one who achieved later fame and notoriety as a Vedanti. In 1814, he started Atmiya Sabha, a philosophical discussion circle in Kolkata, to propagate the monotheistic ideals of the Vedanta and to campaign against idolatry, caste rigidities, meaningless rituals, and other social ills. Rajaram Mohan Roy founded the Atmiya Sabha and the Unitarian community to fight the social evils and to propagate social and educational reforms in India. He was the man who fought against superstitions, a pioneer in Indian education, and a trendsetter in Bengali prose and Indian press. He crusaded against Hindu customs such as sati, polygamy, child marriage, and the caste system. During the next 2 decades, Ram Mohan, along with William Carey, who was an English Christian missionary, launched his attack against the bastions of Hinduism of Bengal, namely his own Kulin Brahmin priestly clan and their priestly excesses. The Kulin excesses targeted include sati, polygamy, child marriage, and dowry. He wrote Gaudiya Vyakaran, which was the first complete Bangla grammar written book. It was published in 1826. In 1828, he launched Brahmo Sabha with Debendranath Tagore, a movement of reformist Bengali Brahmins to fight against social evils. Roy's experience working with the British government taught him that Hindu traditions were often not credible or respected by Western standards. and this no doubt affected his religious reforms. He wanted to legitimize Hindu traditions to his European acquaintances by proving that superstitious practices which deform the Hindu religion have nothing to do with the pure spirit it dictates. The superstitious practices to which Ram Mohan Roy objected included sati, caste rigidity, polygamy, and child marriages. These practices were often the reasons British officials claimed moral superiority over the Indian nation. Ram Mohan Roy's ideas of religion actually sought to create a fair and just society by implementing humanitarian practices similar to the Christian ideals professed by the British and thus seeking to legitimize Hinduism in the eyes of Christian world. By 1828, he had become a well-known figure in India. He stressed with the East India Company administration to ban practice of sati. On 4th December 1829, the Bengal Sati Regulation was passed by the then Governor General of India, Lord William Bentinck, making the practice of sati illegal in all of British India. In 1830, Ram Mohan Roy had gone to England as an envoy of the Mughal Emperor Akbar Shah II, who invested him with the title of Raja to the court of King William IV. The period between 1820 and 1830 was also eventful from a literary point of view. He publicly declared that he would emigrate from the British Empire if Parliament failed to pass the Reform Bill. In 1830, Ram Mohan travelled to the United Kingdom as an ambassador of the Mughal Empire to ensure that Lord William Bentinck's Bengal Sati Regulation 1829 banning the practice of sati was not overturned. In addition, Roy petitioned the king to increase the Mughal emperor's allowance and perquisites. He was successful in persuading the British government to increase the stipend of the Mughal emperor by 30,000 sterling. While in England, he embarked on cultural exchanges, meeting with members of parliament, and publishing books on Indian economics and law. Having studied the Quran, the Vedas, and the Upanishads, Roy's beliefs were derived from a combination of monastic elements of Hinduism, Islam, 18th century deism, Unitarianism, and the ideas of the Freemasons. Roy believed education to be an implement for social reform. In 1822, Roy founded the Anglo-Hindu School, followed 4 years later by the Vedanta College, where he insisted that his teachings of monotheistic doctrines be incorporated with modern Western curriculum. In 1830, he helped Reverend Alexander Duff in establishing the General Assembly's institutions by providing him with the venue vacated by Brahma Sabha and getting the first batch of students. He supported induction of Western learning into Indian education. He also set up the Vedanta College, offering courses as a synthesis of Western and Indian learning. His most popular journal was the Sambat Kaumudi. It covered topics like freedom of the press, induction of Indians into high ranks of service, and separation of the executive and judiciary. When the English East India Company muzzled the press, Ram Mohan composed 2 memorials against this in 1829 and 1830 respectively. Roy's commitment to English education and thought sparked debate between Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore. Gandhi objected to Roy's devotion to English education and disallowing independent thinking by being overly supportive of the Western philosophical discourses. Tagore wrote a letter rejecting Gandhi's views, saying, Roy had the full inheritance of Indian wisdom. He was never a schoolboy of the West and therefore had the dignity to be a friend of the West. The East India Company was draining money from India at a rate of £3 million a year by 1838. Ram Mohan Roy was one of the first to try to estimate how much money was being taken out of India and to where it was disappearing. He estimated that around one half of all total revenue collected in India was sent out to England, leaving India with considerably larger population to use the remaining money to maintain social well-being. Ram Mohan Roy saw this and believed that the unrestricted settlement of Europeans in India governing under free trade would help ease the economic drain crisis. In early September 1833, Roy came to Bristol to visit his Unitarian friend Dr. Lant Carpenter, where he made a deep impression on Lant's daughter and future social reformer Mary Carpenter. While in Bristol, Roy preached at the Levin's Meeting House. In mid September, he became ill and was diagnosed with meningitis. He died at Stapletown on 27 September 1833 of meningitis or a chronic respiratory ailment. In 1983, a full-scale exhibition on Ram Mohan Roy was held in Bristol's Museum and Art Gallery. His enormous 1831 portrait by Henry Perrone Briggs still hangs there and was the subject of a talk by Max Muller in 1873. At Bristol Centre on College Green, there is a full-size bronze statue of Raja by a modern Kolkata sculptor Niranjan Pradhan. Raja Ram Mohan Roy's influence was apparent in the fields of politics, public administration, education, and religion. He was known for his efforts to abolish the practices of sati and child marriage. Rajaram Mohan Roy's efforts paved the way for future social reformers like Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and Swami Vivekananda. His progressive ideas continue to inspire movements for social justice, women's rights, and education in India. He is remembered as a visionary who helped bridge the gap between traditional Indian values and modernity. It is because of his contributions in social, religious, political, economic, and educational spheres that Rajaram Mohan Roy is known as the father of modern India and father of Indian Renaissance. Glossary: Sati, the former act or custom of a Hindu widow burning herself to death or being burned to death on the funeral pyre of her husband. In Telugu it is, ఇది వితంతువును మరణించిన భర్త యొక్క చితిలో పాటు దహనం చేసే ఒక దురాచారం. Polygamy, the practice or custom of having more than one wife. In Telugu it is Bahubharyatvam. Notoriety, the state of being famous or well known for same bad quality or deed. In Telugu it is Apakirti. Monotheistic, relating to or characterized by the belief that there is only one God. In Telugu it is Devudu Okkade Unnadani Siddhantam. Bastards, an institution, place or person strongly maintaining particular principles, attitudes or activities. In Telugu it is Pradhana Kendram. Legitimize, to make something officially valid or acceptable. In Telugu it is Chattabaddham Cheyadaniki. Acquaintance, knowledge or experience of something. In Telugu it is Parignanam. Perquisites, a benefit which one enjoys or is entitled to an account of one's job or position. In Telugu it is Vanarulu.
Thank you. Please